Welcome to another exciting episode of URL Unzip Reboot and Leave podcast. আজকে আমরা একটু বাংলাতেই কথা বলবো এবং আমাদের সাথে যিনি আছেন উনি ইন্টারন্যাশনাল বিজনেস নিয়ে পড়াশোনা করেছেন এবং তারপর পিএইচডি করেছেন অন্টারপ্রেনারিয়াল অ্যান্ড স্মল বিজনেস অপারেশনস নিয়ে। উনি রিসেন্টলি একটা বই লিখেছেন দ্য সাবকনশিয়াস ব্লুপ্রিন্ট টু সাকসেস। প্লিজ ওয়েলকাম ডক্টর রাজীব কুমার রয়। ডক্টর রয়, কেমন আছো রাজীব দা?
Thank you so much, Gautam. It's my pleasure to be in your talk. Okay. And whatever I
Mine
have
too.
little know from you, I can see lot of energy and enthusiasm in your face. Okay, every cells of your face,
Thank
and
you.
which makes me feel to, spend little bit more time with you and exchange whatever possibly we know.
Excellent. Happy to.
Thank
Absolutely.
you.
So, Dr. Roy, basically, apart from many various other engagements, he's specifically doing working as a startup mentor and business coach. এই কথাটা এই জন্য বললাম, আমাদের আজকের প্রশ্নগুলো আমরা উনার ওই এলিমেন্টের উপরে বেস করে করব এবং জানার চেষ্টা করব। আচ্ছা, সো দ্য ফার্স্ট কোয়েশ্চেন, যেহেতু তুমি স্মল বিজনেস অপারেশনস নিয়ে কাজ করেছো, এই স্মল বিজনেসের ডেফিনেশনটা কি এখন, ঠিক আছে? আর মানে দুনিয়া কিভাবে দেখছে স্মল বিজনেসকে এখন?
ওকে, তো আমি তোমাকে প্রথমে বলি যে দুনিয়া কেরম করে দেখছে, তারপর আমি ডেফিনেশন স্যার। আমার কথার মধ্যখানে হয়তো আমি একটুখানি ইংলিশও বলে ফেলতে পারি,
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ, একদম, ফিল ফ্রি।
তাতে হবে কি, আমি ওই বাংলায় ঠিক ওয়ার্ড গুলো হয়তো ঠিক মতো বসাতে পারবো না, তো আমি একটু ইংলিশে বলে ফেলি, তারপর তো মধ্যখানে বাংলা। is a small business. A small business are basically a economic backbone. In India, you have 30 to 35% of small businesses. Globally, the small business basically supports almost 20 to 40% range for the international economy. Country to country base, that percentage might change. Small businesses are basically drivers for the major innovations. Maybe it is a product, it might be a service, the agility of the local economies, and your community impact and the environmental impact. Now, generally what happened that whenever we think of innovation needs a case study. Okay, every innovation needs a case study. It needs a sample. It needs a controlled environment where they can do the study. Now, whenever they come out with the innovations, either they develop a product or service, uh, they need to do it locally because they need to support the local demand. Okay, so the small businesses are basically drivers for these small innovations. Successful small businesses positively is a gateway for local to global or global to local. It's a small business is a gateway, always a gateway. Generally, whenever a big brand come to India, I'm talking about India. Why I'll tell you later. India, Indonesia, Southeast Asia, Brazil, these four area will be the major economy. I'm not talking about China. China is already the topmost economy, top two. They are going to drive the world economy by 2050. You'll be amazed to know that Indonesia is going to be fourth largest economy by 2050. Indonesia. India will be second, US will be third, and then it comes Indonesia. So successful small business is a gateway for local to global in a spirit of entrepreneurship, of accommodating risk and the adoption of the digital transformation. Every local business is having some sense of entrepreneurship, some sense. Okay, I'll not say that entire sense of, because entire thing might not be having the whole level of innovations. Okay, they might be doing it in different format, but they accommodate the risk of finance, infrastructure, customer, product development, service deliveries. They do it in their own format with the adoption of the digital transformation, because now in this generation, without digital, you possibly cannot reach out to the customers. So that is the possibly how world is seeing a small business. But there are definitions and the benchmark for the small businesses are different. For the manufacturing sector, for the service sector, or the number of employments, it defines that whether it is a small business or not a small. Now, every small business, when we define it, positively solve a generic local problem under a small demography. Every small business, they try to solve a problem. So, but the opportunity is world may see this effort as developing a product or service to specific customer preferences, accommodations of the local policy and regulations, understanding the local culture, and also unique propositions. So let's say I'll give you an example. When Pizza Hut comes to India, they initially bought their products because they do not know what is the local taste is all about. Now they have 70% taste, which is India basic. You go to Pizza Hut, Indonesia, the taste is different. Go to Pizza Hut, Thailand, taste is different. It means at the end of the day, you need to deliver your products or the services for the local people. So the local adoption is very, very important. In business term, we call it as a localization. So the innovation in local can accommodate, and that can be a gateway to go to global. Why? Because the way you are accommodating a local culture, taste, pattern, and develop in a product, the same thing you can actually replicate in every economy. The pattern remains the same. Research model remains the same. How customers are behaving, that might be different, but the model of capturing the customer behaviors remains the same. So small businesses, in a nutshell, a problem or a service or a product for a local community under a small demography is delivered is a small business. Once we replicate it, it becomes integrated and a bigger business.
ওকে, এবারে বিজনেসে আসা যে ব্যাপারটা বা সামওয়ান ইজ স্টার্টিং দেয়ার ওন গিগস, সেগুলোর অনেক রকম ভাবে হয়। মানে ব্যবসা ফ্যামিলি থেকে যারা আসে, predominantly they kind of fed into their head that okay, you have to be in business, like Marwari community or a few Punjabi communities, some coming from a passion, some coming from a calling. So emotion versus passion, data versus calling, and survival versus luxury. What is necessary?
প্রথমে বলি যে তোমার যে প্রশ্নটা করেছো, শুধু এই প্রশ্নটার উপরে একটা বই লিখে ফেলা যাবে। ওকে, because the fact is very vast.
Yes.
Okay, there is something called entrepreneurships or startups or starting up any new business, if I take it in that form, and the family business. Both are not safe. Both are not safe. Family business run by a traditional thought process which is developed over developed a legacy, right? টাটা যেটা ডেভেলপ করেছে সেটা এখন হয়তো বিগ বিজনেসে, বাট ইনিশিয়ালি ইট ওয়াজ এ ফ্যামিলি বিজনেস। বিড়লা, আদানি, রিলায়েন্স যেটা করেছে আগে ছিল ফ্যামিলি বিজনেস, দেন দে ওভার দ্য টাইম দে ট্রান্সফর্মড ইট। ওকে, সো বাট ইন entrepreneurships what happens, you are actually starting today, you are identifying that particular problem which is creating a itchy at customer's body. So you are first trying to find it out, are you really solving that problem where people are ready to pay the premium? If you are not solving the right problem, then it is not possibly a right mode of doing the entrepreneurship. So there we say that there can be a lot of noise, but the noise can be a sound before the defect. তো আমরা যদি ইমোশন আর প্যাশনের কথা বলি প্রথমে, it's like a promise and commitment. Emotion is having its own up and down, but passion is to accommodate the bigger goal and the purpose. Passion is for long term. Though we can have the associated with specific emotions, but passion may accommodate all type of emotions through its larger understanding. I'll give you an example. Let's say winning or losing a specific competition may have an emotion associated with it, right? I lost a game. I have emotion. I own a specific game. I have emotion. But becoming an expert on that particular game, it requires a passion. It's not emotion. It requires a passion, which might have multiple win-loss formula and with a law of average. For startups, developing a non-obvious solution and non-obvious solution and sustaining for the longer term, accommodating all the challenges, win, loss, upset, all these are a long-term perseverance. If they don't get it, they cannot be committed for that particular business. They need to understand that everything is a part of the game. Emotion is a part of the entire journey, which has its own magnitude of the spikes. But at the end of the day, you need to understand your commitment and the passion both are associated. Emotion might come sometime and emotion might go off also. So that is when I'm talking about startups point of view, that is the emotion and the passion. Data versus calling. Data is basically uh, mm, secondary. You get a data from government portal, you get a data from books, you get a data from the report. It's a secondary. The primary is calling, because calling is a live act. Calling, I'm not sure if you are talking about a calling from inside calling or you are calling from that actual calling up our customers.
No, no,
Okay.
inside
Which
calling.
inside calling. So data is something which you have identified from whatever is already done. And you possibly realize that something from your inside, it is telling you how I can make use of certain informations and create something new for a particular purpose. So let's say you collected a data saying in a particular locality, you know the purchasing power of the people. That's a data. The calling from inside can say you, can I find it out that if what percentage of these people will be interested to buy a specific product or services. Now, that calling is having associated with a strategy, approach, plan to attend for. So that's what are the two things are totally different. When you get a calling, calling is having a process. Is you create a locus in your mind. I'll give you an example. Every week, you have a calling from your inside saying that I have to go and meet the Maharaja of uh, Ramakrishna. It's a calling from your inside. Whatever happens, every week on Saturday or Sunday, you do whatever it is, you somehow make 2 hours time, plan it out, handle the agilities, create a locus in your mind, and then you basically attend that one. That for that, what you have to do? You create certain plan, certain strategies, certain approaches. What I need to do now today, what I can keep it for next week, what I should not do, so that I can make out the 2 hours of time. So for startups, that calling is all about how much differences or impactful solutions you are developing for the market or for a business. That calling, when it comes, then they generate that strategy, approach, and plan. Coming back to your third point, which you are saying that luxury and what you told, uh,
Survival.
survival. Pretty simple. One is need and one is want. Survival is need. Luxury is want. The need and the want changes based on the economy, one economy to another one, based on the social and the cultural development and the perceptions of life. I'll give you an example. Let's say if you uh, so understand our fundamental rights of education, health, food, environment, need of the basic things is a survival entity. But accommodations of the luxury is a definition which is defined by the state of living based on the S of access quantum. Let me give you an example in the other format. Your Atlantic salmon, caviar, and truffle is not a huge luxury in Norway, Japan, Korea. It's not a huge luxury. You might get it. But in India, it's a huge luxury. Why? Because the demand supply economics, when you go, okay, very less percentage of the people they feel it is really necessary for my life. Only on the economic scale, I find it's just a want of my life at any specific time, but it is not a need. So anything we put it in a want format, it becomes a luxury. But once again, as I told, it changes from country to country. Okay, in India, you hope you remember around 20 years back, people are having burger 2 times a week used to be a luxury. 20 years back, 25 years back. Now you possibly take burger every day. So over the time, the exchange between want and need continuously happens, but over the economics, it changes. There are a lot of research paper. In fact, as I told you, your these questions possibly we are trying to attend in 5 minutes, and we are doing zero justice with the answer. It can be written as a book. I so every possible thing what you are saying, what I basically do, the moment a question comes, I first find it out what journals have been published on this. I go through. And believe me, 50% of the journal I don't understand. Because when they come from their background of writing, I don't understand 50%. But
Mm-hmm.
at least I understand other 50%. I'm saying mota moti. This exchange of need and want, how it changes in a particular economy. When a need become want,
Mm.
when a want become need, that exchange is a small progression of the changes.
And like
It's
তুমি যেভাবে বলছো আমার মনে হচ্ছে আমরা লাইফের কোন স্টেজে রয়েছি দ্যাট ইজ অলসো সামটাইমস চেঞ্জেস দ্য নিড অ্যান্ড ওয়ান্ট.
very much, absolutely very much. We you will see initially you possibly try to see everything is need in your life.
হুম.
Everything is need. You need a bike also, you need a car also. You
হুম.
don't need one house, you need two houses. Well, the moment two houses becomes, you need a third house.
হুম.
Everything becomes your need. You
হুম.
you are perceiving it as a need. When your age becomes 70, then you possibly realize, looking back, possibly it was not required.
হুম.
I only made my life harder. Okay. That point of time, your mind is not thinking that one as a want of your life. Then your basic things is basically your need and want. Everything get got diluted there. So very true that with our life progression, what stage we are in, what kind of people we are mingling with, what society we are living, a comparison mechanisms in our mind continuously runs. Comparison mechanism. It's like if I see where Gautam went for the weekend year-end celebration. Ah, he went to Hawaii. Okay, I think Hawaii, if he's going, I should go somewhere else. Without even realizing, your mind started comparing that data.
হুম.
Then your need and want started exchanging in your mind. It's a psychological parameters. It's a psychological parameter. So you are very true that economics, stage of our life, how we have brought up, how we see the society, what society is expecting from me, and how much I feel that whatever society is expecting from me, I should be able to deliver. What my family is expecting from me, I should be delivered. What others families are doing, how we are comparing ourselves, that need and want, survival plus luxury, and there is something called in between. There's something in between also. We don't know. It is above survival, below luxury. Okay, that conditions also getting created in our mind.
Right.
But
Nicely put.
yes, it is positively is to access quantum is one part of your luxury. Is of access quantum. যে যে জিনিসগুলো লোকজন বেশি পায় না ছুঁতে, বাট আমি ছোঁয়ার চেষ্টা করছি কোনোভাবে। And please note, it is nothing to do with our mind, it is all materialistic things only. তুমি কালকে একটা অসাধারণ বই পড়েছো, যে বইটা 100টা বন্ধুর মধ্যেও কেউ পড়েনি, তুমি 3 মাস ধরে বইটাকে পড়ে ক্র্যাক করেছো, মেবি a larger audience gives a damn thought about it. Maybe also that's a luxury. We don't know. But people realize and perceive luxury only through the materialistic achievement. Access quantum, knowledge is also access quantum, না? আজকে ধরে নাও একটা 3 মাস আগে একটা মেয়ের সাথে পরিচয় হলো, হার্ভার্ডে একটা অসাধারণ কাজ করছে, এমআইটি তে রিসার্চ ফিসার্চ করেছে, ভালো কাজকর্ম করেছে। আই ফাউন্ড দ্য সলিউশন ইজ সো গুড। আমি শুধু ভাবছিলাম, আরে বাই ফ্লুক আই গট দ্যাট অ্যাক্সেস অফ দ্যাট পার্টিকুলার লেডি। So the ace of access quantum is also a luxury, part of your luxury. Not everybody get that access, but we don't realize আমাদের কাছে valuation of our thought process, uh, until and unless people pay for it, we feel it has no value. That is the only reason, until and unless Vivekananda went to Chicago, he became famous. Okay, Ramakrishna Dev was never famous. Ramakrishna Dev was never famous. He was only famous with his closest surroundings, like a local solution. It became global only when Vivekananda realized and told whatever Ramakrishna told in a larger term. So that's what is that, we need to understand that what is luxury and what is the materialistic luxury, what is the non-materialistic luxury. That's a very good question, this one.
Okay, thank you. Acha, I'm also running my own small business. You are also running your own show. এবং এটা করতে গিয়ে আমরা ডিফারেন্ট টাইমে ডিফারেন্ট ভাবে ফেল করি, আইদার মানে অ্যাকোয়ারিং কাস্টমার, সামটাইমস অ্যাকাউন্ট, সামটাইমস মেনি আদার থিংস। ওকে, কারোর কমিউনিকেশন ভালো না। আমাকে তো প্রথম দিকে এখানে বলা হতো তুমি ইংরেজিতে গ্রামারটা ঠিক করো। তো মানে ইমিগ্রেন্ট হয়ে প্রবলেমের কথার আগে ইংরেজি গ্রামার নিয়ে কচকচানি হতো কিছুক্ষণ ধরে। সো মাইন্ডসেট, নেটওয়ার্ক, নলেজ, ভিশন, এক্সিকিউশন, মেন প্রবলেম মোটামুটি কোথায় হয় এই স্মল বিজনেসেস গুলোর আর স্টার্টআপস গুলোর, এন্ড মেন ফোকাস মোটামুটি কোথায় থাকা উচিত মোটামোটা?
These are all entities having its own purpose and can be a part of a single journey. From my point, what I see that these are components of making a business or any such engagement with a to serve a larger audience. Because at the end of the day, you create a business for maybe it is small community, but over the time for the larger audience. You need mindset which understands the problems, related solutions, and accommodate agility with challenges. That mindset you need to have, because problems, whatever you are seeing it today, it undergoes continuous changes because of its dynamics of the market. Market changes, problem changes. So you need to have a mindset to withstand with that particular customer thought process. You need a network. You positively need a network to understand the larger views, situations, and positively where you can deliver your values. Because if you do not have a network, you cannot understand what a big picture, what is the sense of the audience, and with the situation how it is changing. Now that's where you possibly need to deliver the values also. So that's where your network plays very major role. The knowledge is basically acquiring the informations from the experience, acquiring the information from the experience. But I might have an experience, but if I don't acquire the right information from the experience and then develop the ideas out of it, because your what you have studied, what you have generated, that should have a synchronization. So you develop the ideas and you manage the changes in the form of knowledge. Because whatever you are developing the ideas and your experience will also tell you whatever you are getting it today, tomorrow it will bound to change. So you should also know that how to manage that change. In technical term, we can call it as a change management. Okay. In a larger scale, we can call it as a transformation. So you possibly need that particular knowledge from your experiences. Vision, without the larger vision, positively you cannot develop values. You need to have a larger visions. Think about this one. You have 50 poor people in front of your house. They came for food. What is your vision? Your vision will define what kind of satisfaction you are going to deliver to these 50 people. Is your vision to cook and give them something? Or is your vision to satisfy with their hunger? Get a right food. That attitude, that larger vision will over the time make you to do those activities with the approach where you wanted to see them successful, that they came to your home, they begged for it, they asked for it, and they are successful, they are satisfied. And that's where you basically deliver the values. So your larger vision is important. Problem solution and solving a larger vision, two different things. Somebody comes to you, you give a medicine, but somebody comes to you, you take care of it. Two different aspects. So positively need to have a larger vision without which you cannot deliver, develop the values. The execution. The execution is a structure. Execution is nothing but a structure. It is a structure to work with process, resource, and the plan. You need to understand that what process you are going to follow to ensure that your resources you are utilizing and that you are developing a form of plan or strategy. And that when you are delivering it into the ground, that's the execution. Most of the startups, they positively need all the five things. But your question was something that where they basically lag and what they possibly need to do. They need to first find it out whether they really identified that problem which they are going to solve. If they haven't identified that problem, they cannot solve it also. Because having an idea in your mind, sometimes it is very, very vague. You do not know the entire operation boundaries. Up to what extent it's going to work, where it possibly doesn't work. Is it working 100%, 80%, 50%? I don't know which people take this particular solution. So if we do not know, so it's almost like when you write a piece of code, what you do. There is a normal positive flow and that is called negative flow. Why you write the negative? Because you know that some users or some input parameters or some customers will be possibly passing some parameters which is outside of the boundary. Exceptional parameters. So if I do not understand the problem clearly, I cannot understand their boundaries also. So that will possibly hamper the overall solution creation process. Wrong problem you identified, wrong solution will be created. So that's where I think most of the cases, as I told you, every month 50 to 60 startups I sit with, at least 30 to 40%. That's a different story that my team filtered out and gave me the startup who have possibly done some level of good work. Still, we find almost 30 to 40% of the startups, they haven't identified the right problem and developed a non-obvious solution. Not obvious solution, non-obvious solution. Non-obvious solution says how you are achieving, people will not be able to identify very easily. That's where the patent or IP you are developing. How you are losing the weight, people are not able to find it out actually, but it is working. It's a non-obvious solution, but it is working everywhere. People are not able to identify where it is because the moment people are able to identify, they will copy it. Business will be copied. A Me Too product will come into the market. In the city, I take Kit Kat. Outside of the city, I drove. I went to a shop. I found Kit Kat. I took it. It doesn't taste like Kit Kat, but it is Kit Kat. Then I found the name is actually Cut Cut. Okay. So the moment you create an obvious solution, obviously it will be copied. The moment it is non-obvious solution, you have created a path so complicated, you only know how to go. Then people cannot go. So startups positively need to work on uh, all these five parameters.
Okay, nice one. So for small businesses, eyeing global expansion is a reality now, right? Many companies are doing that. Can
Mhm.
someone got a customer globally first, then
Mhm.
locally? Is it a reality now in India?
So I'll give you one quick example that global or local, wherever you develop the product need to have a similar type of customers. If you are trying to create a restaurant in your area
Mm-hmm.
and and in your restaurant you prepare Indian food, okay, you might not get too many customers if the Indians are not sitting around that places. So if you have developed a paneer butter masala, how to prepare, or let's say one special way to prepare your mac and cheese with a separate flavor, even if you are trying to sell it locally, and if the same product need to sell it in Thailand, you need to understand is Thailand also similar taste, but people should be available. That's why you will be able to sell it, right? So doesn't matter global or local. You need to deliver what is required locally. What is required locally? If you are selling a Indian food in US, okay, if it is that particular location, that particular demography, if there is a demand, then only you can sell. Otherwise, you cannot sell. Because whatever the solution, it needs a touch of that life of the customer or the consumer in that specific demography. You take medicine, you take fashion, you take pizza, you take burger, you take car, you get personal care, you can take home care, you can take packaged food, or all might be having a global brand, but they all sell it to locally with the local taste. Your medicine is also not same in every country. Your pizza and the burger tastes are also not same in every country. There is some common taste, maybe 20 to 25%. But positively, you need to understand, even if you are trying to go to global, you need to understand globally what touch points you are having for the customer, and that taste you have to develop. Whatever the product I told you, whatever the product I told you, these products might be very much touching our daily life. Okay, because most of the products are used in daily lives only. I'm not talking about Windows 2010 version or Windows 2012 version. It's a business areas, so that there is standardized process. I'll give you one very easy example. From Brazil, we are supposed to deploy some of the distributor management system in India. We told India's market is so vast. So we told that where we can test this product, whether it's going to work or not. We took Thailand. He tested in Thailand. Does it work? Because the people, their culture, the way they behave, the way they act. Thailand, Singapore, Thailand, Malaysia, Indonesia, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Brazil, all are same. So that we took the product, tested in Thailand, deployed in Indonesia. When it becomes successful, confidently we took it in South Asia. So it doesn't matter it is local or global. Ultimately, it needs to serve the local customer. And the local customer preference you need to capture it. That's what his business is all about.
Nice. Okay. প্রিভিয়াসলি তুমি মেনশন করেছিলে যখন ওই মাইন্ডসেট নেটওয়ার্ক এগুলোর মধ্যে কোনটা ফোকাস করা উচিত, এবার জিজ্ঞেস করছি যে where normally all these gigs, entrepreneurship or startups normally fail.
Three quick thing I'll tell you. Number one, education to understand the customer need, culture, and the values. That is first. If they don't develop, it will fail. Number two is the community belief and the motivation towards the independent mindset and the entrepreneurship. Do your local, your family, do your society really feels that entrepreneurship is really good? You should go for it. Why to go for the job? No, go for entrepreneurship. That motivation is another. Third one, encouragement towards risk-taking ability. You can, if you have read that book called Rich Dad and Poor Dad, that rich dad says that go ahead and take risk. Go ahead and take risk. I have seen life. Go ahead and take risk. If you take 5 risks, 1 risk will turn out to be a great success. The poor dad says, I have seen life. Don't go and take risk. Failures are more. Go for a job. So these 3 things plays very, very vital role to develop that entrepreneurial mindset on every individual. It's driven by the society, nurtured by the society. You have some question on nurtured by the society and created for the society. I wanted to keep this one small.
No, nice, very nicely done. Yeah, okay. Now, এই কোয়েশ্চেনটা এই জন্য জিজ্ঞেস করছি যে বিকজ অফ দিস ইনফ্লুয়েন্সিয়ার গেম ইন সোশ্যাল মিডিয়া দেয়ার আর লট অফ পিপল হু আর, আমি বুঝতে পারি না, ইন অস্ট্রেলিয়া আই এম সিইং লাইক 20, 22, 25 year old, they are coming as business coaches or life coaches. আবার ওইদিকে একটা বড় কনসেপ্ট বা বড় কথা হচ্ছে যে টেক অ্যাডভাইস ফ্রম সামওয়ান হু হ্যাজ স্কিন ইন দ্য গেম or who gone through the same kind of a journey. So মানে তুমি কিভাবে দেখো স্কিন ইন দ্য গেম কনসেপ্টটাকে?
স্কিন ইন দ্য গেমস টাকে আমি দুভাবে বলতে পারি। একটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে পুট ইউর শুজ ইন কাস্টমার্স, পুট ইউর ফিট ইন কাস্টমার শুজ, আর আরেকটা হচ্ছে গিয়ে কাস্টমার ট্র্যাকশন। নাও the game is basically a series of event or actions. Game is nothing but a series of actions. So in a business, you have starting from idea, then development, then strategy, approach, go to market, MVP testing, going to the customer, alpha, beta, and then continuous change. It is a series of events. A game is generated to overcome the challenges as it appears during the course of execution. That's what is a game is all about. Let's think about the football game. What happens? You go to the field, 11 people come. The game, the moment start, they don't start attacking. They have some ways to assess other sides' strength, weakness, find out the opportunities, find out the threats, and then they actually shape up their strategies. To create the right strategy, you need to understand them. It's a expectation from the end users and create a two-way communicative relationships. Take accountability on progressions, which will develop the trust and also helps to create proactive and the long-term thinking only when you are actually putting yourself at customer's position and you are working with those entities who are associated with that customer traction environment. So why they say that why you need a business coach or a mentor or work with another work company who is almost working with a similar kind of ecosystems? Because whatever you wanted to do for the customers, you one thing is very important. You need a feedback from the other side that what you are doing it is good or not. I'll give you a very easy example. When you cook, either you test it or somebody is there who understands the taste. You keep on testing, right? তুমি দেখো তো ডালের নুনটা হয়েছে কিনা বা মাছের ঝোলে একটু টক লাগবে কিনা একটু মিষ্টি লাগবে কিনা it's a customer traction. But with whom you are doing? You are not doing with the end customers. You are doing with somebody who is experienced consultant. Maybe your mom, maybe your beau, maybe your বোন, পিসি, whoever যে পাশে দাঁড়িয়ে আছে. So that skin in the game means who actually understand the market vibes. They can give you the proper responses, and that will help you to develop the better product and services and make you successful.
রাইট, ওকে। নাও একটা মানে কথাতে আসছি যেটা ইন্ডাস্ট্রিটা কিরকম আমি ঠিক বুঝি না, and I am also মানে I consider myself as a failed recruiter. I started my business that way. On paper এই ধরনের কথাবার্তা চলে, hire someone on interest rather than skill. Okay, in reality how much that happens, interest, attitude, এই যে সফট স্কিলস গুলো, এগুলো অ্যাকচুয়ালি কতটা দেখা হয়, নাকি রেকমেন্ডেশনের নাম করে সবকিছুকেই বাইপাস করে দেওয়া হয়?
এটা একটা মিক্সড উত্তর হবে। আমি বলছি কিরকম, টু if you have enough time to experiment, you might take somebody who has possibly 20 to 25% skill but have a huge interest to work on, and the dedications are there. It might work out. But if you need to act immediately and solve the problem, you need a skillful person. The interest is a continuous process. Interest cannot be a one-time game, right? I have interest on cooking. If the interest of cooking is there, and then my cooking need to be stabilized at home, that next 25 years, every weekend I should cook. If that need to stabilize, then my interest need to be very repetitive, very much planned. I learn continuously and I deliver also at weekend. So initially I might not have enough skill, but I have interest to learn. But can every business accommodate that much of time? So most of the time we suggest that find out your situation wherever it is. If somebody has an interest and you feel that you possibly do not have too much of fund to hire him, and he is ready to come because he has to learn. Process of learning you are giving, so that's where you are possibly managing your fund. Take somebody, but you need positively somebody who can guide you. So বিবেকানন্দ একটা কথা বলেছিল যে if you win you can lead, if you lose you can be a guide. So you know that what বাল্ব তৈরি করেছিল, সে 1000 বার ফেল করেছিল, তারপরে গিয়ে ওর বাল্ব জ্বলেছিল। তোকে যখন জিজ্ঞেস করেছে 1000 বার কি হয়েছে, 1000 times I found that how a system doesn't work. Then when I found that these are the ways things doesn't work, what are the ways it possibly work? That's what becomes my life easier. So it all depends upon the situation. Skill is positively required over the time to develop and deliver, but it all depends on the situation, how you are, you know, getting somebody in your game. In startups, we have found majority of the startups, they lack one particular skill, that is called marketing. They lack it. Why? It's not their problem. It's a challenge. It's not a problem. It's a challenge. Why? ওই বাংলায় একটা কথা আছে না, যে রাধে সে কি চুল বাঁধে না?
হুম
আরে অনেক সময় হতে পারে যে রাধতে রাধতে সে চুল বাঁধতেও ভুলে গেছে, হতেই পারে। যে রাধে সে চুল বাঁধে না বলাটা হচ্ছে এই কারণে যে যে ইনোভেশনস এর টেকনিক্যাল কাজ করছে, সে কি মার্কেটিং করতে পারে না? অবভিয়াসলি তাকে মার্কেটিং এ গিয়ে যদি তাকে যদি বলানো হয় যে প্রবলেমটা কি তুমি ডিফাইন করো, ও বলতে পারবে, কিন্তু ওকে যদি বলা হয় যে 5টা কাস্টমারকে তুমি স্যাটিসফাই করো, ও হয়তো করতে পারবে।
হুম হুম
তো দ্যাট স্কিল দে নিড টু ডেভেলপ ওভার দ্য টাইম। কারেন্টলি একটা আমার স্পেসিফিক সার্ভিস হচ্ছে এরকম যে লোকজন আমার, despite I know I am not a great marketing person, but people identify I am a great marketing person. কেন? যে বলে যে তুমি যে করেই হোক কাস্টমারকে ঠিক বুঝিয়ে সুঝিয়ে টেবিলের মধ্যে বসিয়ে রাখ, এটা ইম্পর্টেন্ট। কিন্তু যারা টেকনিক্যাল প্রবলেমটা সলভ করছে তারা তো মার্কেটের প্রবলেমই সলভ করছে, কাস্টমারের প্রবলেমই সলভ করছে। ওভার দ্য টাইম ওটাকে কি করে মার্কেটিং এর মোড়ক দিতে হয় ওরা হয়তো বুঝতে পারছে না। সেটা ধাক্কা খেতে 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 শিখছে। এবার তুমি চিন্তা করো, তুমি যদি তোমার টিমে এমন একজন কাউকে নিচ্ছ যে তার টেকনিক্যাল প্রবলেম সলভ করে দেবে, ভাই মার্কেটিংটা কতটা জানো? বলে মার্কেটিং তো আমি জানি না। আরে আমার তো 4 জনের টিম, কাউকে তো মার্কেট করতে হবে। মার্কেট সবাইকেই করতে হবে, বিকজ এভরিবডি ইজ এ ব্র্যান্ড অ্যাম্বাসেডর। মার্কেট সবাইকেই করতে হবে, কিন্তু ইউ মাইট নট লার্ন ইট ফ্রম ফার্স্ট ডে ইউ মাইট নো অনলি 20% অফ দ্য মার্কেটিং এর কি বলতে হয়। ওভার দ্য টাইম ধাক্কা খেতে খেতে লোকের কথা শুনতে শুনতে কনফারেন্স অ্যাটেন্ড করতে করতে তুমি বুঝলে যে 1 বছরের মাথায় ওটা 60%-এ গেছে। So coming back to your skill or hiring somebody on the interest, I'll say it's a mixed bag answer. I cannot say big company তারা বলবে স্কিলফুল লোককে নাও, কালকে থেকে ওকে ডেলিভার করতে হবে। ছোট কোম্পানি স্কিলফুল লোককে নিতে গেলে প্রচুর টাকা পয়সা বেরিয়ে যাচ্ছে, 20% লোক জানে, প্রচুর ইন্টারেস্ট আছে, হাফ প্রাইসে নিয়ে নাও। ইটস এ সিচুয়েশনাল গেম।
ওকে, তো এবারে আমরা আসছি, টিপিক্যালি উই উইল টক অ্যাবাউট ইউর বুক দ্য সাবকনশিয়াস ব্লুপ্রিন্ট টু সাকসেস, ওই বইটা নিয়ে। কারণ জব্বর একটা নাম, এবং এখান থেকে শুরু করো তাহলে হোয়াট ইজ সাবকনশিয়াস, বা সেকেন্ড কোয়েশ্চেনটাও করে দিই তাহলে
ইটস
একসাথে, মানে হাউ উই বিল্ড দ্যাট অর অটোমেটিক্যালি বিল্ড হয় আমাদের মধ্যে এই ব্যাপারটা।
The subconscious is basically a automated execution of our mind, which helps us to do things without even noticing or thinking about it. এটা হচ্ছে যদি এক লাইনে লিখে দেয় 1 নম্বরের প্রশ্ন উত্তর
হুম
দিলে 1 নম্বর পাবো, এটা হচ্ছে এক। But the deep dive is says different things. It's a set of habit which we develop ওভার দ্য ইয়ার্স। আমি তোমাকে বলছি যে জিনিসটার প্লাস এন্ড মাইনাস কতভাবে হতে পারে। আমি যেগুলো প্লাস বলবো সেগুলো মাইনাস হবে। ফ্রম আওয়ার চাইল্ডহুড when we grow up, okay, our mind is almost like a vacant land. We started seeing things, taking data from everywhere. We do not know what does those mean. We don't know the parameters of the relationships, custom, culture, habit, good, bad. We do not know anything. We only can see things. আগুনে হাত দিলে আগুন আঙ্গুল পুড়বে, আর আঙ্গুল পুড়লে প্রায় 15 দিন ধরে ব্যথা থাকে। সেই জন্যই আমি আগুনের কাছে কাছে থেকে দূরে সরে যাই। It's a natural response. But in the normal life, what happened? Our acquired knowledge or the experience is driven by a set of protocols set up by our elders, মা, বাবা, টিচার বা যাদেরকে রেসপেক্ট করি। এবার আমাদের কাছে ওরা ছাড়া আমাদের কাছে কিন্তু কোনো আর লিডিং এক্সাম্পল নেই যাদেরকে আমরা ফলো করি। এখন হতে পারে, আমি বলছি যে আগের থেকে এখনের অনুযায়ী প্যাটার্ন আবার সেপারেট হবে। তো আমাদের কাছে ইমিডিয়েট লিড মডেলস হচ্ছে আমার মা বাবা দাদা কাকা পিসি, এটা হচ্ছে আমার লিড মডেলস। আমি কিছু একটা করলাম, তারা এসে বলে, "এই, এটা একদম করবে না, ওদিকে তুমি যাবে না, এটা দেখা বাজে, ওটা খাওয়া খারাপ।" এটা কন্টিনিউয়াসলি হতে থাকে। When it becomes a repetitive habit of listening certain things about custom, culture, habit, and we started working on it, আমাদের মাইন্ড অলমোস্ট লাইক এ ডেটাবেস। চোখে দেখলাম, কানে শুনলাম, যতটুকুনি বুঝলাম, আমাদের মাইন্ড পিছনে গিয়ে ওটা ডেটাবেসে ফিক্স করে দিয়ে তার পিছনে একটা ইমোশন অ্যান্ড দ্য কোশেন্ট কোয়ান্টাম লাগিয়ে দেয়। এটা কন্টিনিউয়াসলি হতে থাকে, হতেই থাকে, হতেই থাকে। শুক্তো খেতে ওরকমই হতে হবে,
হুম।
শুক্তোর টেস্ট ওরকমই হতে হবে। ব্রাহ্মণ বাড়িতে না এলে সরস্বতী পুজোর মানেই হয় না, লক্ষ্মী পুজো উতরাবে না, দুর্গাপুজো মানেই নতুন জামা কিনতে হবে। আমি তো শুধু একটা সাধারণ ব্যাপার বললাম,
হুম।
এরকম তো তুমি হাজার খানেক কাস্টমস আমরা ফলো করি। তুমি লক্ষ্য করে দেখবে এগুলো কে ডিফাইন করছে। আমি জানি না কে ডিফাইন করছে, তুমিও জানো না কে ডিফাইন করছে। দুর্গাপুজোর সময় যে নতুন জামা কিনতে হবে, তুমিও জানো না কে ডিফাইন করছে। কিন্তু তুমি এটা দেখেছো যে দুর্গাপুজো এলেই বাড়িতে সবাই নতুন জামা পরে, লক্ষ্মী পুজো এলেই দৌড়ে দৌড়ে হয়তো ব্রাহ্মণদের নিয়ে আসা হয়, লোককে খাওয়ানো হয়, খিচুড়ি বানাতে হবে, নাহলে আর লক্ষ্মী পুজো কি হলো। These are the customs we generate over the time and sit in our mind without altering anything. Nobody challenges, even you also don't challenge. Over the time, it becomes a part of our subconscious. And by default, we started automated execution of those processes on the ground with everybody else. এবার প্রবলেমটা কিন্তু ওখানে না, যে মাইন্ডে যেটা বসছে, মাইন্ডে যেটা বসছে, ওয়েদার ইট ইজ হাউ মাচ রাইট হাউ মাচ রং, এটাতে তোমার কোনো কন্ট্রোল, তোমাকে কোনো কন্ট্রোল। সারাবিতে অমিতাভ বচ্চনকে ছোটবেলা থেকে এক পেক করে মদ খাইয়ে দাও, ও জানে বাবা যখনই আমি সন্ধ্যাবেলায় বলবো আমাকে এক পেক মদ খেতে হবে। সিমিলারলি, যে ধরো টোলে যাচ্ছে ডেইলি, তাকে বলা হচ্ছে সকালবেলা উঠে, বিকেলবেলা উঠে, রাত্রেবেলা হতে তুমি চ্যান্টিং করো, ওর সকাল হলে ওকে চ্যান্টিং করতে হবে, একে সন্ধ্যেবেলায় মদ খেতে হবে। What is right, what is wrong, that's a different story. But somebody told you that is the right thing, and you keep following it. And that's what sits in our subconscious. And many of these subconscious parameters are so strong, we cannot even challenge ourselves. কুরুক্ষেত্রে যখন কৃষ্ণ অর্জুনকে বললো যে সব ছেড়ে দিচ্ছি বাবা, আমি তো নর্মাল লাইফে লিড করবো, কেন বাবা যুদ্ধ করবো? What Krishna told, it's not about the fight. Krishna told, তোমার সাবকনসিয়াস মাইন্ডে যেগুলো বসে আছে, সেই প্যারামিটারস গুলোকে তোমাকে চ্যালেঞ্জ করতে হবে। তোমার সাবকনসিয়াস মাইন্ডে তোমার বলা আছে যে আমি যুদ্ধ করব না, মানে তুমি বলছো যুদ্ধ করবে না, কিন্তু তুমি কি জানো যে এই সমাজে তুমি যদি যুদ্ধ না করো, যুদ্ধটা করবে কে? সো when Vyasdev wrote that particular Gita, why he wrote? When Upanishad came, why it came? What it is saying? আমাদের সাবকনসিয়াস মাইন্ডে কি বোঝানো হয় যে তুমি বড় হয়ে কি করবে, ছোটবেলায় কি করবে, বিয়ের পরে কি করবে, বাচ্চা বয়সে কি করবে, স্কুলে কি করবে, সবকিছু তোমাকে বুঝিয়ে দেওয়া হচ্ছে, সব তোমার সাবকনসিয়াস মাইন্ডে বোঝে, তুমি কি ওটা বাচ্চাকে বোঝাচ্ছ? আমি কিন্তু রাইট রং এর জায়গাতে বলছি না, রাইট রং এর প্যারামিটার ডিফারেন্ট। এটা এই কারণে করা হয়েছে যে Upanishad is not written because somebody need to derive the explanations of Gita or Ved, because they have to implement into the society ultimately. The implementation is important. And that subconscious mind, and in my book, what I try to showcase them, যে আমাদের সার্টেন থিংস যেগুলো আমরা লিগাসি থেকে পেয়েছি, কেন করা হয়েছে আমাদের বোঝা উচিত। আমাদের সাবকনসিয়াস মাইন্ডে বসানোর আগে ইউ শুড বি need to have some questions and question your mind saying that why I need to follow. সারাদিনে তুমি তিন 3 লিটার জল খাবে, অবভিয়াসলি তোমার মাইন্ডে থাকতে পারে why it is not 4 or why it is not 2 or why it is not 5 প্যারামিটারস। ইফ ইউ গো ব্যাক and say your body nutrient বেরিয়ে যাবে, মোটামুটি বোঝা গেছে 3 লিটার জল খেলে ঠিক আছে। তো বিফোর আই পুট সামথিং ইন দ্য সাবকনসিয়াস মাইন্ড, how much conscious we are to put something in our subconscious mind. And that's what this book is telling you, start to finish. So whatever we do automatically, that plays major role in our success quotient in our life. Whatever you do automatically. Today, in an organization process or behavioral attitude or a customs, let's say whatever you do, it is universally very good. It means by default, without taking more stress, by default you will do it. Na? Without taking more stress. Think about this one. Every morning you feel to go for the morning walk. When you started going for first day, second day, third day, you feel bit challenged. সকালে উঠতে হবে, যেতে হবে বা যোগা করতে হবে, 1 দিন 2 দিন 3 দিন 4 দিন তুমি ওটা ওভারকাম করার চেষ্টা করতে 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 যখন তুমি 10 থেকে 12 দিনের মাথায় গিয়ে যখন পৌঁছলে, it becomes a part of your subconscious. The habit is generated. Now you don't take a stress to get up early morning. If you do not get up, that becomes a stress for you. So how your habit get generated and how consciously right habit get generated in your mind, that defines how you are facing the problems in your real life or your social life or your business life, and helps you to work like an automated man or woman, whatever it is, and handle the situations. That's what is the subconscious mind is all about, and that is that strong.
রাইট। তার মানে একটা হচ্ছে তুমি যেটা বলছো যে অটোমেটিক একটা হ্যাবিট ধরো তৈরি হলো, কেন হচ্ছে বুঝতে পারছি না, কিন্তু একটা টাইমের পরে গিয়ে ইউ হ্যাভ টু স্টার্ট কোয়েশ্চেনিং যে কেন হয়েছে, অ্যান্ড ইফ ইট ইজ নট অ্যাকচুয়ালি ওয়ার্কিং ফর মাই ওন ওয়েল বিং অর ইন মাই লাইফ, দেন কোয়েশ্চেন ইট অ্যান্ড চেঞ্জ ইট, অর
Absolutely,
ট্রাই টু ফাইন্ড সামথিং যেটা আমাকে এই জার্নিটাতে নিয়ে যেতে পারবে।
absolutely. মানে তুমি দেখো, তোমাকে যখন থেকে ধরে নাও ফর এ গিভেন ডিসকাশন, ধরে নাও বলে দেওয়া হয়েছে যে গ্রিন টি ইজ গুড ফর, আমি কিন্তু এই আর্গুমেন্টে প্রুভ করার চেষ্টা করছি না এই ডিসকাশনে যে গ্রিন টি গুড ফর,
হুম।
ধরে নাও বলে নেওয়া হচ্ছে গ্রিন টি ইজ গুড ফর, then you have positively all right two things to do. Either take it with lot of questions in your mind. You are not very happy, somehow you are taking, your body will never get benefit. Why? Your central nervous system and your mind is a synchronized factory. If you think that you are having a food and tomorrow you might have a acidity and you might get constipation, 90% chance you are going to hit both, because your mind is actually now working negative. It is taking it as an alien, is not taking it as a part of your body to do a normal process. The moment you started thinking something is good and your mind is well aware it is good, most of the time you'll feel that you never realize that you actually took a bad food, and when it got digested everything is fine, you are still feeling fit and good. আমি এটা কন্টিনিউয়াসলি দেখেছি যে একটা টাইমে ছিল যে 20 years I hit gym at morning 4:30 to 5 o'clock. 20 years continuously when I'm saying, even when I'm traveling abroad, my first thing was to find out if the hotel is having a gym. So it generated a habit and the pattern in my subconscious mind. এরকম ওকে দিন গেছে 2:30 থেকে 3টে অব্দি পার্টি করেছে, ঘুমোতে গেছি, 1 ঘন্টা পরে ঘুম থেকে উঠেছি, উঠে জিমের জন্য রেডি হয়েছি, জিমে গেছি, I felt as healthy and fresh while doing the gym. So these patterns are developed with a consciousness effort and the kind of emotion what we are putting on the thought. thought is a single entity. It can come whole day, a lot of thought comes to you. The moment you put an emotion associated with it, it becomes a part of your memory system. So our subconscious mind is developed with the synchronization of our body functions, our alignment with our activities, and our perseverance of the world outside. This is what the whole book is written for.
Um, Nice, very nice. So just a bit of a nugget. We are almost end of the conversation. So just the last bit. Uh, can you give us some tips like how we can positively feed to our mind to change that for our own success, for our own life and work success?
Look, examples are a lot of examples are there around. Okay, one of the things people will say that uh, follow a leader, see some examples. Those are all motivational part. Okay, will keep you motivated. One thing we need to be very, very sure that what we are expecting from our life. If that is not clear, everywhere we'll face the problem. What we are expecting from our life, or what we are expecting out of this discussion, what we are expecting today, what we are expecting by working in a company, what we are expecting by sending my kid to a particular study. If we are not sure, it's like a normal any other business will be facing the challenges. Now, if your question that what I should do, now one particular exercise is positively very good. That is called keeping the mind as calm as possible. Our mind is almost like a server. The moment we got up, our পঞ্চ ইন্দ্রিয় খোলা, তুমি ইন্টারনেটে 10টা নিউজ দেখবে, এমন বন্ধু বান্ধব রাখলে যারা দর্শক হয় তোমাকে আরো অ্যাডিশনাল নিউজ দিল, বাড়িতেও কিছু নিউজ এলো, পরিবেশের নেইবার্সের থেকেও পেলে, ইউ ক্যানট স্টপ ইট, ইউ ক্যানট স্টপ ইট, you can only try to reduce it. Over the time, if you reduce the number of inputs in your mind which are unnecessary for your life and you have realized that what is unnecessary. যেমন ধরো আমি তোমাকে একটা এক্সাম্পল দিচ্ছি. Over the time I realized that when I have certain level of friends, they only talk about party, মদ, কোথায় নতুন খাবার আছে. When I realized that one and I felt that it takes so much of time because একটা নতুন খাবারের কথা বললো, কোথায় পাওয়া যাবে and all those things, I slowly avoiding that particular discussion and the surrounding. I'm not stopping myself, I'm just avoiding. So what is happening? Over the time they also realize that I'm possibly not enjoying. Initially it's been challenged. তুই কেন আসবি না পার্টিতে, কেন এটা হবে না, no, I'm busy on something else. Then I started finding almost 15 or 20% time I started saving, not thinking about those. So I started allocating that time on a particular specific activity which will help me in my short-term agenda. In the short-term agenda. When I do that, why it is short-term agenda? Please note I told short-term agenda. Why short-term agenda? Because you need to see a success. You need to see a success first. If you see a success, it becomes your motivation factor. So over the time, when I put that one across, then I found a success. And it's a mix of success. Success means, দাদা বলো সাকসেসের প্যারামিটারটা কি, কত পার্সেন্টেজ হলে সাকসেস? আই এম নট. আমার কাছে সাকসেস, পার্সিভারেন্স অফ সাকসেস ইজ দ্যাট. স্যাটিসফ্যাকশন, তোমার মা তোমাকে মাছের ঝোল আর ডাল বানিয়ে দিল, ইউ আর সুপার স্যাটিসফাইড. আমি তোমাকে বললাম প্যারামিটার দাও তো বাবা, তোমার মা যে রান্না করেছে প্যারামিটার দাও তো, তাতে কি এটা পড়েছিল ওটা পড়েছিল, তাহলে আর কিসের ডাল হলো? It's your perseverance ultimately. You felt satisfied taking the food. May not be it's a great dal, but you felt. That is what is important. At the end of the day, are you feeling good about it? আর তুমি বলবে যে তাহলে তো বাজে খাবার খেয়েও তো আমি গুড ফিল করতে হয়, মানে সেটাই তো তোমার সাবকনসিয়াস মাইন্ডে তুমি বসিয়ে রেখেছো যে বাজে খাবার খেয়ে আমি গুড ফিল করো। আই ক্যানট হেল্প অন দ্যাট। হাউ ইউ উইল রিপ্লেস ইট ডিপেন্ডস আ ক্ল্যাম মাইন্ডসেট, a kind of things which is not required in your life, you possibly note it down, এই জিনিসগুলো আমি করছি, কোনো দাম নেই, আই শুড অ্যাভয়েড দ্যাট। হাউ ইউ শুড অ্যাভয়েড? তুমি ওটাকে অ্যাভয়েড করে তো ওই টাইমটা তো কোথাও তো তোমাকে
হুম
ঢোকাতে হবে। You should put that whatever you are possibly not doing, put that on that activities there. It might be a reading a new book, maybe talking to even Maharaja is also very good. Okay. Maybe reading something which possibly you never did, or engaging other people to read.
or maybe feel like listening something, yes, some positive input
Absolutely.
basically,
Same thing.
yeah.
Anything which is making you
Richer.
thinking, achieving that luxury, যেটা চোখের সামনে অ্যাভেলেবল, only you can perceive with your mind. If you are doing that, that will be great. So আমি তোমাকে একটা এক্সাম্পল দিচ্ছি যে 3-4 দিন আগে আমাকে একজন দেখালো, দেখে বললো যে টেল মি ওয়ান থিং, ইউ নো what keeps you always so smiley, enthusiastic and everything, even when we are undergoing a lot of stress in the business and all this? What? I told, I just don't take any tension. Business comes, it might be successful, we are trying to do the best. If it is goes to the failure, we learn out of it. Third World War will never start through me. Though Third World War in different form already in the world it started. We already accepted that one. But through me it is not starting. I'm not killing anybody. My friends are not killing me. We are trying to do the good things. I am not taking the tension, because by taking the tensions, I might be spoiling my good time. So tension is just a thought. Similarly, if you are, last but not the least, আমাদের সমস্ত যোগী বাবারা হিমালয় কেন চলে যায়, জঙ্গলে কেন চলে, কেন যায়? Because no thoughts will be running around them. They cannot see that materialistic things around them. আমার চারদিকে যদি আমি পাহাড়ের উপর বসে থাকি, তলায় আমি কিছুই দেখতে পাবো না। So I will be remaining with my own thought in the calmness of my mind, and whatever I wanted to think, I can think. But there is no noise around me which will be disturbing my thought. So avoidance of certain things which is disturbing your mind, that should be the first thing we should be doing. And allocate that time for something which you are going. You are going to Maharaja once, you might land up to Maharaja twice. We don't know. But this is where we possibly can achieve if we are dedicated. So মানে তোমাকে এই এই যে পার্সিভারেন্স যে জায়গাটা, এটাটা এতটাই স্ট্রং। তুমি কাকভূষণটির নাম শুনেছো? বা যেটা মহাভারতে ছিল বা রামায়ণে ছিল বা মাইথিলি, কাকভূষণটি। কাকভূষণটি হচ্ছে রামের বড় ভক্ত, আবার শিব শিবেরও খুব ভক্ত। তো শিব ওকে বলেছে যে তুমি তো এখন অমর। তো বলছে অমর, তাহলে তো খুব ভালো, আমাকে আপনি অমর করে দিন। অ্যাকচুয়ালি কাকভূষণ আমার অমর, হ্যাঁ ঠিক আছে অমর করে দিলাম, কারণ আমার তো পাখা আছে, উড়ে বেড়াতে। সেই কাকভূষণটি একবার সাউথে যাচ্ছে রামায়ণ দেখার জন্য, একবার নর্থে যাচ্ছে মহাভারত দেখার জন্য। Every time he is making a trip, he is seeing a different versions of Ramayana and Mahabharata every time. Question হচ্ছে, what is the meaning of every time he is seeing the different things? It means if our circumstances, our association, and the situation changes, the entire story will change. আজকে যদি সত্যি করেই যদি দুর্যোধনের যদি মামা যদি খুব ভালো হতো, ধরে না ওর মামা হচ্ছে বিদুর, তাহলে দুর্যোধন তো যুদ্ধ করতোই না। কিন্তু যেহেতু দুর্যোধনের মামা হচ্ছে শকুনি, ও এন্ড আপ ফাইটিং। রাবণ যদি বিভীষণের কথা শুনতো, তাহলে তো যুদ্ধ হতোই না। সো এভরি টাইম হি স ডিফারেন্ট ভার্সন অফ, and the ending of Ramayana and Mahabharata and different. It only depends that what we are associated with. That drives what we do. with that, I must say that I should give a pause of what I'm saying.
Excellent. So on that, your surrounding, তোমার আশেপাশের লোকজন খুবই ইম্পর্টেন্ট, যেটা বারবার করে তুমি বলতে চাইছো, your
Absolutely.
which basically shape your own life. So on that, as you know, if you want to recharge your energy, live life in your own terms, this is the right place for you. This is URL podcast. Please share, subscribe, and like this channel. With that, we should end here. Thank you, Rajibda, for your time. Thank you.
Before I end, I must say you, Gautam, you have enough patience to listen to my bokor bokor.
না না,
You know,
perfectly all right, দারুণ লেগেছে।
and I will really advise you. I don't know which portions you should be editing, but I don't know how much meaningful I spoke. Okay, there are a lot of things to talk, but I really appreciate your patience and your lovely facial expressions, which made me to talk more. So the spoiler is you, not me.
Okay, great. On that, and it looks like we can talk more on few other things. So, and we
Sure,
will. Okay,
sure,
thank you.
sure.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, Dr. Rai.
Take care. Take care.